Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at the Phantasmal Flames Build and Battle event. Now, of course, I have been a bit delayed due to, obviously, the PC issues and everything, and, well, the UK heatwave that we've had. I've got a fan on in the background, but from what I've been able to work out in, test recordings and stuff, you shouldn't hear it, so... And also, I've just updated the video broadcast, which is what I use to help record my videos. So, of course, the one that I'm hoping to dodge today might seem like a bit controversial, but I'm hoping to dodge the Ceruledge pack. The reason why I say that is because there doesn't appear to be, because I've looked up, the starting deck list and stuff. It's one of those where, you have energy retrieval, but you only have standard energy retrieval, and you have 4 of them, which, that's useful for the attack. But other than the Ceruledge, which, to be fair, isn't a bad card, there isn't one that I'd really, hate to have. The Flygon would be nice for disrupting, the opponent's strategy and everything, but even so. So, of course, as per normal, in the description below, there will be the usual timestamps, and, of course, there won't be a deck list, but, of course, there will be a link to the Discord server. And, of course, there will be a section where we'll go over the deck that we do get, and hopefully we'll be able to get something good out of that. So, let's get ourselves into it and see what we get. I'm kind of hoping we don't get Ceruledge. We got Zacian! So if our opponent has 3 or few prize cards remaining, this attack does 90 more damage, which, that's not too bad. We also have the Alcremie with Sweet Circle, which does 20 damage for each of your opponents, or each of your Pokemon in play. Think of it like Lilith Scatheri in a way, or... There's another card that has this attack, I'm fairly certain, off the top of my head, but anyway. We have a Mimikyu for Call for Family. We also have 3 copies of Zacian. We have a couple of Wondrous Patch, which is pretty nice, although our attackers don't really, well, our main attackers take either 1 or 2 energy. We've got a Switch, which would only be useful for the Zacian, so I might keep that in the deck list. We've got 3 Lilies, 2 Brocks, 2 Draytons, and 2 Hilders. We've got a couple of Ultra Balls and 13 Psychic. Okay, let's start cracking open the packs and see what we get. Preferably we want Psychic attackers. That Mischievous could potentially be useful. Same with this Meloetta if we get something, and, well, another Meloetta. The Dawn's pretty nice, but we're only really playing stage 1s and basics at the minute. The Battle Cage is cool. The Flygon's useful if we had that, but we don't, unfortunately. Sableye, Ceruledge, Haunter, Blowtorch. Baneri, we could potentially pull a Megalophony. There's an Empoleon, but we don't have a Piplup or a Primplup. Charmander, Apom, Darumaka, Fire Breather, another Meloetta, another Alcremie, we could use that. Another Zacian, we could definitely use that. And of course, a couple of Genesects, that's completely fine. Next up, we've got Piplup, Bramblin, Swinub, Linoon, Punk Helmet, Wondrous Patch, that's good to have. Togedemaru, Charmeleon, Moltres, and that's our lot. Not bad, I will say, although, again, we don't have any EX Pokemon, but that's pretty standard. But we have already a 4-4 line of the Milcery Alcremie, so I don't think we need to worry about that. Now, I could add in the Meloetta, it could potentially use Magic Shot for 50 and also potentially heal, but as you'll notice, our attackers are pretty spongy, 90 HP, 130 HP, and obviously we have the Mimikyu, which I'll keep the Mimikyu in the deck, or in the deck list. I think it's fine to do so. But other than that, really, we have something, but not a lot. I will take that extra Zacian, though, I will say. That could potentially be useful. So let's go through those trainers that we had. See, Hilders only really have a use if, you have the special energies. Yeah, you could grab a standard energy off of it, but we can, we can do all sorts, really. I don't think we need to do that. So I'm actually tempted to cut the Hilders. Or, one of them at least, which, I mean, I can keep it in the deck list for a bit of draw and stuff like that. I think Drayton I can go down to 1, we'll go down to 1 with, so that's something. We did have another Wondrous Patch, which I will add in. We have a Battle Cage as a Stadium, which could be a good bump if our opponent has an attack that does damage counters. So that could potentially be something. I'm happy to keep the Brock, same with the Triple Lilies. That's completely fine. I'm actually going to cut the Psychic Energy down to about I'd say 9, because, like I say, we only have 1 energy attackers most of the time. I think what I need now is just basics for Sweet Circle, and stuff that we can use potentially. We could add in Charmander as a free retreat option, because, you know, if it has no energy attached, it has no retreat cost. So I think we'll do that, just so we have a free pivot. Which, in this format, having a free pivot is actually pretty nice to have. Other than that, really, there isn't really a lot, you know. We didn't pull another Milcery, which I would have liked. We could chuck in a Meloetta as potential, but I don't really want to do so because it's kind of a bad card in this instance. Other than that, really, I don't have a huge amount to really add. You know, we've got what we have. I mean, I could just put it back into Drayton. I could go up to 10 Psychic, just so we have a little bit more option. And plus, finding energy in this deck is going to be quite tricky without the Hildas. So yeah, I think that's going to be our deck. So, let's get started. I must admit, I'm not happy with this. Like, I'm happy with the, you know, the Milceries and the Alcremies, but, you know, I'm not excited to, like, you know, use this deck list. I mean, you know, we have the Charmander for a free retreat option, which is pretty nice. We just need to not put energy on it, which, you know, we're not attacking with it, so that makes complete sense. But, you know, we at least have a free pivot, which is pretty nice to have. And, you know, we have 2 retreat costs in the form of Zacian. And if we can go, you know, attach to the Zacian, Wondrous Patch, and then just use Charmander as our free pivot, you know, we might have something here, but we will soon find out. I will start the Charmander, because obviously he does have that free retreat, like I said. And it looks like our opponent got the Toxtricity. So we do have the Psychic weakness, or the Dark weakness to worry about, but of course our Pokemon are weak to Metal, thankfully. So that's at least something. We can get that Association, we can get a Milcery down, attach to the Milcery, and then Lily's for turn. Although I could Drayton, but I think just getting a fresh 6 hand would be pretty nice. Okay, that's fine by me. There's Mimikyu. We don't need to bench that right now. I'm going to attach to the Milcery, and I will Lilies. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. I'll pass. He can call for family, but obviously we're going to be taking the first prize card, which is pretty nice. Obviously, our damage with the Alcremies is limited, but I'm not too worried about that. That Grimsley I'm worried about, though. Especially when you got that. Crocodile, Vengeful Fang 160, well, 60 plus 160. So if we knock out this Toxel, he could go into this for a single Dark Energy, and we need to 2-hit this thing. So that might potentially be a problem, but we can cross that bridge when we come to it. You know, like I said, we aren't Dark weak, we are Metal weak. But let's see what he grabs. So you can grab 2 basic Pokemon, whereas our Mimikyu only grabs just 1. And it looks like they've got a Sandile approach, so that makes complete sense. So let's get ourselves some boys down. And we'll do that. I'll Iris away the Psychic and draw 5. That's pretty good. So then we'll free retreat into the Alcremie and Sweet Circle for 100. Take the first prize card, which is important, but obviously we are going to have an immediate response with that Crocodile. Let's see. This does 140, so we could potentially use Zacian later. We can also use that Wondrous Patch to set up the Zacian. But I don't think we win this matchup, to be brutally honest, because obviously he has a lot in the way of, you know, he has Crocodiles, which is quite an issue, I will say, but hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. There's a couple more Sandiles, and he can go for the Vengeful Fang for 220. He can also start using Tox to start charging up his boys, which I'm a bit concerned about. But like I said, we have the Charmander as our free retreat, which it looks a bit odd in the deck list, I will say, but, you know, we don't have anything to worry about in that regard. So we'll soon find out if it's any good. They're going to charge up another Sandile, and I'll Vengeful Fang for 220. That's fine. Because now he takes a prize card, I can come up with a Zacian and just start swinging 140 constantly. So I'm pretty happy with this. Like, we're not in a bad situation here. There's another Zacian. We'll bench that. We'll go Wondrous Patch, attach, Lilies. If we can get multiple set up, I'll be a lot happier about that. And we are we're definitely getting to do that this turn. So then we'll go limit break for 140. We don't knock out the crook, but that's okay. He only hits us for 60. Unless he's packing, like, triple candy, which I didn't look at the Toxtricity version. I would imagine there's no candies in there. He's going to have to manually evolve them through Crocorox and stuff, which is good for us, because it means we can keep taking prize cards. But at the minute, it's looking like we're in a good position here. There's another Sinister Surge, and obviously Sinister Surge is actually good for us, because eventually we can use, you know, we can knock these out as they come along. It looks like he's preparing to attack with the Toxtricity, which, that makes sense, but still. Thanks to us not being Dark Weak, Zacian survives the hit, no problem at all. There's an Ultra Ball, I don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to evolve to an Alcremie and swing. I'll take that. We're even doing it with our promo, which is nice. I don't need to play these Ultra Balls right now, like, I could Ultra Ball away the Mimikyu and the Meloetta, but I don't need to worry about that. Looks like he's coming in with the Toxtricity now. So it's 20 for each Pokemon in play, so we can actually take this out. If he attacks with Gentle Slap, we can actually take that out, which is good. Obviously, in an ideal world, I'd want to attack with Zacian, but, you know, you can't ask for everything. I probably should have played the Ultra Ball if, like, we're going, like, full try-hard on this, but, well, it's pre-release format, so I'm not too bothered. But, you know, if you are planning to play this format, just, you know, try and think about it a little bit more than me. Obviously, I've been living through a heat wave for the last week, so that's been fun. But down goes Zacian. That is completely fine. We do obviously lose the Psychic, but we do have the Alcremie, which, with another basic bench, which will be the Milcery, we do take the knockout here, which is good. And yeah, 120 exact. I'll Ultra Ball these away. I'll grab the last Alcremie, and then we'll Sweet Circle for 120, take out the Tox. That should be curtains for our opponent, I'll be honest. Even if they have rare candy, we should be okay. You know, they are going to get a swing in. Like, the only thing I'm worried about is the fact that we don't have another Psychic Energy, which could be a problem. Unless they have rare candy Crocodile, I think we're okay here. But yeah, we've done pretty well. I mean, you know, new EX Pokemon again, which seems to be a running pattern with this series that I do like playing this format. There's a Grimsley, which, yeah, there's a Crocodile there, but unless you have a switch plus an energy, you are not getting that into the active, my friend. He does have a switch. That is an issue. That is a big issue. So unless we get a Psychic Energy top deck or a Wondrous Patch, which we played 2 of them, we're in trouble here. There's Drayton. Does Drayton get us anything? Yeah, it could get us a trainer card. Let's see. Ooh, I don't like that. Okay, well, I'll take the Lilies for now. I'll evolve this. Bench this. Pass. I can leave the Charmander in the active for 1 turn, but I can't afford to, you know, leave it there forever. We can leave it there for 1 turn because this only does 60 damage. Unless he has some sort of damage modifier. Or if he'd, like, pull a Munkidori or something. I don't think Munkidori's in this set, if I remember rightly. But, you know. There's a Lilies for 6. We just need a Psychic Energy. And we've only played 4 so far. So we shouldn't be worried about that. But still. Obviously, by the time, if we can get a Psychic Energy this turn, we should be fine. We don't need to worry about hammering unless he plays Energy Switch, which, again, I don't know if that deck comes with it, but kind of hoping it doesn't. Okay, Brox, so what I'll do is I'll get rid of these. And we have 6 Psychic in there, so if we don't hit it off of Lilies, I'm worried. And there we go. So we'll go Wondrous Patch to the Zacian. I'll touch to an Alcremie. And I'll go with Zacian. It doesn't hugely matter. But Zacian's a little bit more bulkier. Just in case, you know, anything happens. But if he doesn't, you know, find another way to get get this Crocodile out of the active and he can get another one down, we win here. But if he gets another Crocodile going, we might be in trouble. But hopefully, he doesn't have, because he's already played 2 Grimsleys. I've seen no candies. That's a 3rd Grimsley. I mean, if he does have a Crocodile, like, you know, it would be okay, but he's only found a Tox. Looks like the game's lagging out as well for him, but yeah, this is definitely not, you know, this is not looking good for my opponent. And yeah, it looks like the game's lagging a bit. I mean, to be fair, it is, you know, 10:30 at night. I'm not, you know, the servers are probably just a bit but, you know. But yeah, I don't think my opponent wins here. Even if he retreats into the Toxtricity, we have enough damage with Limit Break to knock out the Tox. So, yeah, there's not really much he can do here. He's going to Sinister Surge. Thin another card out the deck if he has another Dark. Which, looking at it, he does, but I think the game's lagging now, so... Yeah, I'm going to cut ahead to... Well, when the game stops, you know... Well, in fact, no, it's actually working now. That's fine then. But yeah, I don't think my opponent wins here. Like, he can't come in with Rear Kick because it only does 20. He's got the 3rd energy attachment. Does he have Rare Candy Crocodile? I severely doubt it. And even if he does, you know, I can just Limit Break, hit it for 6 or 140. And yeah, that's curtains for my opponent. He was 1 energy away from hammering, and he would have won. But unfortunately for him, we are able to take the knockout. And that's game. First game with the Build and Battle set for Phantasmal Flames, and that went okay. Obviously, trading 1 prizes is nice, but if we meet a 2 prizer, I don't think we're going to beat it. Let's go to game 2. And welcome back to game 2. That was a good first game there against the the Tox box, as I'm going to call it, because, you know, it's not a proper Tox box, but it makes sense. I mean, you could technically say it was a Crocodile deck, but, you know. Oh, okay. My opponent's just going to give me the win immediately. Sure. I didn't pay attention to usernames. Did we pair this guy previously? I don't know. But, hey, that's game 2, technically. Let's go to a game 3. Well, I wasn't expecting that, that's for certain. I wasn't expecting you know, an immediate concession, but hey, I'll take it. I mean, we're 2-0 now, technically speaking. I did have what I remember a pre-release I did where I can't remember what set it was. Was it Scarlet Violet? And I just nuked the guy like turn 2 with one of my attackers. I don't remember exactly. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna give you the win," and I was like, "Oh, okay." That match lasted about 3 minutes, only because he was new to the game, so he was like, "I'm sorry if I take a bit of time," and I said, "Honestly, mate, don't worry about it." You know, when it comes to me playing in person, I'm quite chill, to be honest. Like, I'm very much a chill person. I always have been, but you know, looks like we're against Flygon, which I'm not bothered about because we have Ultra Ball away for double Psychic. Would it be correct to grab? I mean, I could grab Alcremie because, well, Milcery, sorry, because I can call for family with a Mimikyu. So I think I'll do that. So Wondrous Patch, attach to the Mimikyu, and pass. I'm glad I did keep the Mimikyu. It's an extra basic, but at the same time, it gets us a basic down, which is important. Which is, you know, kind of key for Alcremie, but still. Obviously, our opponent's going second, so they do have a supporter available. Oh no. I was about to say, mate, I mean, playing Hilda is... I mean, I don't know his hand, obviously, but... Gliscor? Okay, we need to be careful of that. I remember that card. Fighting Gong. Probably throw a Gligar, if I had to guess. And yep, there it is. We need to be careful of that, because that is... It's 50, plus you can't retreat and you're poisoned, if I remember rightly. So, we need to make use of our Mimikyu as much as we can. And he's going for the double headbutt. Respect. Double tails, so no damage. I mean, I would have liked if this was fighting resistant, but anyway. So we'll do that. We'll evolve to you. We'll attach to you, and we'll call for family. We'll just grab Charmander. Because, again, it's our free retreater. I think it's a pretty big brain move actually playing that card, but I'm just worried about this this Gligar, or this Gliscor, because it is a big threat to us. The Vibrava is not too bad. I mean, if he has the second of fighting attach, it's fine. But I'm worried about this, because this Poison Ring could potentially be a problem for us. He's going to retreat into the Gliscor. I mean, if all else fails, I'll just go for Call for Family and die in checkup. You won't be able to kill the Charmander. But anyway, we can't retreat, so that's why I'm, you know, making that suggestion. But let's see. An Alcremie off the top is pretty good, so we'll just Call for Family. Thin the deck out. We might as well. Do we have... Yeah, we have more Alcremies. I can get Danization now, though. So then we go down in checkup, which is annoying. It's correct to promote an Alcremie here, because Charmander's just going to get locked by this. So it's correct to promote one of our Alcremies. We can potentially take out Gliscor, but we do need the top deck of a Miracle, to put it simply. Which I don't think we're going to get. But obviously they do take a prize card in between turns, which sucks, but... You know, pulling the Gliscor is a big issue, because like I say, it makes us not retreat, but anyway. And obviously the Flygon mills our deck as well, which, you know, if they mill us a decent supporter, we could be in trouble, but, you know, I'm not sure what's taken them so long to select their prize cards. Maybe they've never taken a prize card before. You don't know when it comes to this format, you genuinely don't. You could meet a complete stranger who has never played the game before, or you could meet the best player of all time who's just playing this for a bit of fun, you know? That's what I like about this format, there's no, like, restriction. Okay, Flygon, you're milling 2. I think it does it when it's knocked out as well. Yeah, okay, I'm not bad about those. I'm happy with those mills. Because Brox would have actually helped us, but still. Brox would have helped, but, you know, it's not a big deal. But I would like to potentially deal with... Oh, whoa, what was that? Reshiram, was that? Yeah, he's got a Reshiram in the deck. I'm not sure what this is doing in here. You don't really play... Like, yeah, you can play a couple of fire, but you don't really play anything that can, you know, counter it. Or, like, unless you're playing, like, 4 fires or, like, 5 fires, you kind of just lose out there. But anyway... Top deck of a Miracle was not a Miracle, so I'm just going to swing for 80. Obviously, we don't go down in between turns, which is beneficial for us. But we do need a Miracle soon enough, because at the minute, we're not doing a lot of damage. Next turn, we're doing 60, which, yeah, will kill the Gliscor, but I'm going to have to 3-hit a Reshiram, which is kind of bad. But anyway... Hopefully we should be okay. But fingers crossed, you know, they whiff anything good, but they can set up the Flygon to be an attacker. Excuse me, but I'm kind of hoping they don't have a lot, because we're relying on a top deck right now. And our limit break, they're not attacking. Okay, not really sure what your plan is here, buddy. I can actually retreat this now and save this for another attack later. And because you're down onto 3 prize cards, I could do 140. I'm really not sure what he's playing here, but I'll take it. Maybe disconnected? I don't know, but maybe, well, I mean, it depends on where he lives, you know. Maybe Mum called him to bed or something, I don't know, you know. That sort of thing could happen. But yeah, I'm not really sure what my opponent's done there. I mean, he had the knockout with the Gliscor, and we wasn't to know we were going to top deck into a Psychic Energy. He's going to promote a Flygon. Yeah, I think our opponent's left the building, unfortunately. Like I say, maybe Mum called him to bed. I don't know. I mean, I'm old enough to the point where I don't have a bedtime, but, you know. I mean, I say that. You know, I'm nearly 26 and I go to bed before 11, but... You know, that's normal, but... Well, I say that's normal, but you get the idea. But yeah, I think our opponent has left the building, so I will see you all in game... Oh, no! Once again, it's another one where the opponent is in the building with us, but they just don't seem to, you know, be really doing anything. Maybe he reconnected, I don't know. Like, that's my guess, anyway. Fighting Gong. Okay, a Trapinch, that's fine. Now, I know this deck does have a candy in it, so we need to be careful, because we could get milled out of supplies and stuff. Just a pass. Okay. Another Zacian, we will happily bench that. Do I want to bench this Meloetta? I could. I don't need to now, though, so we'll just limit break for 140. We don't knock out the Flygon here, but I'm not really worried about that. I am concerned about the Reshiram, but we should be okay, because it does do 60 to itself, so, you know, if he does manage to set this up, it's not a big deal, but hopefully he doesn't. He is playing quite a few fires, I will say. But, anyway. Sorry if you can hear a dog barking in the background. I don't know if you'll be able to. I've not exactly tested it with Reggie. He's a local Dachshund. He lives about 2 houses down from me. He's very noisy, and he has popped up on a couple of videos with a barking cameo, to say the least. But yeah, he's annoying, but we love him because he's funny. He's the Hilda I would have liked, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. But yeah, obviously when we knock out the Flygon, they are going to mill another 2, which is annoying. But we are going to take a prize card, which is nice. Okay, well, we might as well set up the second station. I don't want to set up this Alcremie because it doesn't really have, you know, any health left. You can kill it with combustion, so I'll just limit break for the knockout. We are going to lose 2 cards, which sucks, but, you know, that's just the way it is. Would you like to use Sandy Flapping? I should hope he does, because, you know, you're milling resources. But I'm just hoping that, you know, even with this Reshiram coming into play, we should be okay. Because, like I say, it does 60 to itself, and then we can respond with an Alcremie. So, yeah. And yeah, he's going to mill. He does mill a Zacian plus a Psychic. There's Hilda. Nice. We can grab ourselves an Evolution. We can bench this Meloetta as well. I only put the Meloetta on the list because it's an extra basic. We're probably not going to use it in this video. So, if you really want to see a soothing melody... unfortunately, this is not the video for you. I know some of you folks love seeing my meme attacks and stuff, but yeah, we're not doing that today, unfortunately. But yeah, our opponent is now prepared for Burning Flare, but of course it does do 62 itself, which means we can knock it out with an Alcremie, which is exactly what we're going to do. Because I'm not promoting Zacian, I don't have to. I can do it with Alcremie, which I'd rather do. Lilies. Well, we'll bench the Meloetta and we'll Lilies. Give us some resources. And the Wondrous Patches keep on flying, which is what I like to see. So we'll do that. Wondrous Patch to you. Pulling another out the packs is just bonkers, but yeah. We'll go for the Sweet Circle. Take out the Reshiram. Take another prize card. We're now down to 1 prize card. The only way in which they save their bacon, at least for a little bit, is if they promote a Flygon, because I can't knock it out in 1 shot. But, yeah. Unless they have some bonkers energy acceleration, they can't really do anything here, which, you know. But yeah, it's looking good for us, you know. Flygon is at the point where, you know, he doesn't have any energy attached. He's probably criminally low on resources. Fire Breather, sure. Play what you like, mate. You know, he's thinning fires out the deck. I would imagine he's not playing many fighting. And we're going to get the first swing in. He's on 2 prizes. We're on 1. So, you know, I'm not really worried here. Another Psychic. We'll attach it to the Alcremie because we can. I will Drayton. Do I want to Drayton? I mean, no. I'm not going to risk it. We'll just Sweet Circle for 120. I don't really want to play Drayton, because obviously if they manage to get something set up, and for some reason I can't knock out their last Pokemons, you know, I can't risk running out of resources, which is what you have to play against with Flygon. You have to be very careful. So I'm avoiding playing the Drayton or the Lilies. I don't have to. If I had another Wondrous Patch, though, because we've used all of them, I would finish him off with Magical Shot. But unfortunately we don't. And he's going to cut and win for the knockout, and unfortunately for him, that is game. Because we can just come up with one of our Zacians or the damaged Alcremie and take the knockout. And I'm going to do it with the Alcremie because he was rude to this little one. And we'll just Sweet Circle for 100, take out the Flygon, and that takes us another win. He can mill if he likes, don't really care. Let's go on to the next game after that victory. And let's see if we can keep this win streak up with no EXs again. There's the mills, doesn't really matter. And that is game. Shame we didn't get to finish him off with the Meloetta's second attack, but hey-ho. You know, I put it in the deck list just for, you know, an extra basic for Alcremie, but Still, I'll take it. Let's go to the next game. And welcome back to Game 4. We are currently 3-0, which I'm pretty happy with, to say that we don't have any basic EXs again, or like, you know, usable EX cards. You know, we got the Empoleon, but we didn't have any rare candies, so, you know, it's one of those where, like, you know, you have the option of pulling them, but if you can't use them, there's no point putting them in a deck list, you know? And looks like we have our first mulligan. We're not playing too many basics, to be fair, so that's to be expected. I wouldn't mind a Mimikyu start, but we already had the one Mimikyu, unfortunately. But no, this is going really well. I'm going to have to turn on my light at some point, though, because I'm actually playing with the lights off and one of my windows open, which means the moment I turn on that light, which is because I have 2 lights in my man cave, it's basically a dinner bell for every mosquito in the area, because mosquitoes find me tasty, is all I'll say. But, you know, that's just how it is, unfortunately. And looks like we're against a Tox box. That is fine. So we're going to do that, attach, and pass. I don't need to play that Ultra Ball. Although we're only doing 50 damage, but to be brutally honest with you, I'm not too bothered. We could actually knock out this Sandile immediately if we wanted to. We could go Brock Scout in, and then we can Ultra Ball away, double Hilda, or you know, okay, he's going to ram to assert dominance. Sure thing, Chief. That's completely fine with me. Ooh, that's pretty good, actually. Because we can Ultra Ball away the Psychic and the Hilda. Grab, we can grab an Alcremie. But then again, no, we would need to retreat this station, so no, that's not possible. We could just play the Hilda. We don't need to knock out the Sandile this turn. I'm going to play Brox, because I could get some more stuff set up that way. I'll grab double Milcery. I think I have prized one, I've just noticed. That's fine. I've also prized Zation, but I'm not too bothered about that. That's okay. So we'll do that, attach, and Limit Break for 50. Which does help later with Crocodile Math. So that's at least something, I guess. Is Sandile / Crocodile in, you know, like, is this the deck? Like, is this what, you know, they put in the deck list, if that makes sense? So, like, you know, they put that in? I don't know, because I don't know if, like, that's the deck build. I didn't look at the Toxbox, the Toxbox deck, but still. Let's go for the Hilda. We can do that. I can actually get more set up here, which I'm fine with. We do still knock out this Krokorok, which is nice. So I'll go Ultra Ball away you and you. I can grab another Zation. So we'll do that. I can evolve an Alcremie. I can then Wondrous Patch to an Alcremie. I'm going to save this Psychic in hand, and I'm just going to Limit Break for 50 and knock out a Krokorok. Does mean, of course, that, you know, he can come in with a Crocodile. But I'm not too worried about that. I mean, if he has it in hand, it's fine. Because, you know, like I said, we're not Dark Weak, which is nice. But, you know, we have to consider this. There's a Lilies for 6, so that's completely fine. There's a Dust Ball for a Sandile. Okay. If it's just a Bite for 30, that feels kind of rough. He's mentioned a bunch of Dark Pokemon as well. We've got an Absol and an Eternatus. Yeah, this is not looking good for my opponent. Because now I could just retreat the station and go in with an Alcremie, which I'm perfectly fine to do so. So we'll play the Drayton, see what we can get. We've got... what we got in here? I might just take the Brock for, like, next turn, because I don't really want to play that Ultra Ball. Well, the Ultra Ball we could grab off of this. So I'll just take an Alcremie and a Brox. I'll take that. So then we'll evolve to the Alcremie, attach to the Alcremie, and Sweet Circle for 100. I'll take that. If they've not got a Crocodile, I'm not too bothered, you know. There's another Zation at the prizes. Nice. We did prize one. Okay, they've got potentially going for a lure for drawing 2 cards. There's Brox. They could grab a Toxtricity now, if they wanted to. But obviously, with Alert, they are not attacking this... Well, they are attacking, but they're not doing any damage, which is kind of important. Their best hope is to try and rely on Eternatus, but... Again, I'm not too worried about this. You know, they're putting damage on it, so... You know, I don't need to be particularly worried about it. But yeah, they're going to go for an Alert, they're going to draw 2 cards... We're going to go down to 1 prize card this turn. Do I want to play this Brox? I mean, I can bench the Zacian, I can play the Brox, grab the Alcremie. We'll evolve to the Alcremie. I'll attach to the Alcremie, and we'll Sweet Circle for 120. Take out the Absol. Who would have thought that we're winning with this deck? I didn't. Like, it's another one of those where, like, we've had another build and battle where we haven't, you know, we haven't been able to do much. But it's not a big deal, you know, like, we don't have to have any X, because, yeah, I have an idea of how to play. I should hope I do, given how many years I played this TCG. But, you know, like, you still have to have a decent idea. Looks like they're going to go for a Shatter, which only does 50 damage, and we can just bring in another Alcremie. You know, if I had energy on the Zacians, I would use the Zacians, but again, I don't need to worry. I can even play this Switch and burn a card. And there's Shatter for 50. There is no Stadium to discard. There's an Ultra Ball. I'm just going to play Switch, go into the Alcremie. I don't want to give this guy a prize card. And then, yeah, we'll just Sweet Circle for 120. If he retreats this, you know, he needs to come up with something big, is all I'll say. But, yeah, this is not looking good for my opponent. And, yep, that is game. They attacked with Shatter. It wouldn't have mattered if they used Power Rush, but... Oh, no. Hang on, what is this? Oh, no, it's used attacks. Either way, we'll Sweet Circle for 120, take out the Eternatus, and that's 4-0. Can we keep this streak up with no EX Pokemon in this deck list at all? Which seems to be a running gag for me playing this? Let's find out. Let's go to Game 5. And welcome back to Game 5. That was, again, a pretty good game there against the Toxbox with the Crocodiles. Thankfully, they stayed in their riverbanks and stuff, so I'm not too bothered. But yeah, thankfully they didn't find too many Crocodiles, unlike our previous opponents with the Toxbox deck. So that is pretty good. But he did have some, you know, useful attackers. Like, he had the Absol, which obviously can draw cards and do 60, which... It's not too relevant, but they did also have the Eternatus, which is pretty good. But, you know, it's a lot of effort to set up the Eternatus, and, well, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Alright, let's see what we can do in our final game. And we do start a Milcery, which I'm more than happy to do so. And we're going first, right? Oh no, we're going second. Ooh, it's a mirror match. Okay, I kind of expected this. We do need to get some more stuff down, though. Because otherwise we're going to get ran over, which I'm not too keen on. So we'll go double Zacian. I'm going to attach to a Zacian, I think. Because obviously they're highly likely going to have an Alcremie in hand. And I'm going to Lilies. Okay, that's pretty good. We'll get the Charmander down. And I think I'll just pass. If they have an Alcremie, I'll just knock it out with Zacian. You know, I'm not too bothered. There's no point me going for a Draining Kiss for 10, because, you know, the Alcremie only has 90 HP. I'm not wasting a turn attachment to do 10 damage. As funny as that would be, though. There's Brox. So they're probably going to get some Zacians down on their own. Yeah, this is literally going to be down to who has the nuts to... like, attack first and, like, open up Zacian. If that makes sense, like, who's going to have the knackers to do it? And, well, I certainly do, but, well, I would need another way to get an energy down, but still. Looks like they are going to commit to the attack, and they are going to open up my Zacian, and they're also setting up their own Zacian. So we need to be careful. Because obviously we can't deal with Zacian in one hit. We just have to hope we can chain Zacians in this matchup. Obviously they played Wondrous Patch as well, but they may not have pulled another one. I'll promote the Charmander for now, because we don't need to worry about this. And another Brox Scout in. I will take that. So we'll just grab double Milcery. So we'll do that, attach, retreat, station, limit break. I'll take that. Not a bad start. Not a bad start to our prize race. Obviously, we are behind because they went first, but you know, we can do something. Sorry about that if you heard the background noise then. I was just being handed my handheld fan, which I forgot I'd left downstairs. But yeah, we may lose this match, which is unfortunate because I would like to go 5-0, but hey ho, it's pre-release, you know. You don't need to, you know, take it too seriously, but some people do. Some people genuinely take this format way too seriously, which is concerning because, you know, it's a fun format. You're not meant to take it too seriously. Like I say, some people do, and it's just quite unfortunate. So we'll promote the Charmander. I need a Wondrous Patch here, or a way to find a Wondrous Patch, and that's not it, Chief. Yeah, I think we just lose here then, because we can Brox for an Alcremie. We could Ultra Ball away a double Psychic, but like we're just too far behind. With them going first, we are just too far behind to really do anything, which is kind of, you know, like it's kind of annoying. But you know, we've had a good run, like we've had a good bit of fun. You know, I'm not too bothered. You know, I'm not here to, you know, go, oh yeah, I beat this dude in the pre-release format, blah blah blah. No, I'm not here to do that. But anyway, we'll Sweet Circle for 120, hit the Zacian, but of course, they have another Alcremie set up, and even if we do knock out this Zacian next turn with a Draining Kiss for 10, which, please, let me do this. I probably should have kept the Psychics if I was planning to do that. I've only just realised to play now, but please, if I could Draining Kiss for 10 and take the knockout here, I would be a very happy boy, but I don't think... I mean, we could top deck a way to get a Psychic on the board. We could. But yeah, we're just too far behind. We're 2 prizes down. You know, we're not winning this match. Let's see what goes to the top. And yeah, an Alcremie. I should have kept the Psychic because I could have been able to do that. But yeah, that's unfortunate. We have lost that game. That brings us to a 4-1 win streak. Which, to be fair, you know, I'll take it. You know, we did pretty well last time. I think we got the exact same record last time, if memory serves. But yeah, unfortunate loss, but of course we get to now open up our rewards, which hopefully we get some good stuff. So let's see once the game loads, because I know it can be a bit laggy, even on a PC like mine, but anyway. So we'll go past, of course, all of the stuff that, of course, we did pull. Which, of course, we didn't use the Meloetta, we at least got to use the thingamabob, the Mimikyu. I kept it in the deck list, like I said, just so we had an extra option. There's the Absol that we met earlier, Empoleon, which we never used because we didn't have a Prinplup, and even then, I'm not playing Metal Energies. There's really no point. I'm just waiting till we get to the packs, because also we're near the end now, don't worry. I know we are, because these are the trainers. And it shouldn't, you know, have well, there's Psychics. Okay, so we've got 5 packs to open. Let's have a look, because potentially this could have been some of the stuff we could have used. So we have another Mimikyu, Mischievous, Carvana, another Mischievous. That is actually pretty okay. That would have been pretty useful. Low Kicks. Miss Magius, we could have used that. If it's a terrible card, but we could have used it. You know, that would have been a pretty bulky attacker for the opponents to deal with. We had plenty of Mischievouses. Another Wondrous Patch would have been nice. I'm mainly looking for, like, Psychic stuff, because that's obviously what we had. Mega Gengar, we could have potentially had a Gengar line. We did have a we had a 1-1-0 line. We had the singular Ghastly, we had a singular Haunter, we just didn't have the Gengar. So that could have been nice. Cresselia, I forgot what that Cresselia does. We'll look at that later. I rushed past it. And last pack, another Charmander, that would have been nice for a free retreat. Seviper, Blowtorch, Haunter, Rotami X, not very useful. Where's that Cresselia? Because could that have potentially been something we played? Let's have a look. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Psychic Energy cards. No, it's trash. Even for a pre-release. But yeah, we'll collect our rewards. That went pretty well, I think. We're not starting a new round, don't worry, because I don't have time for that. I am tired after, being on for, well, it depends on how long this video has been, but no, I've really enjoyed that. Obviously, we do have another build and battle coming up soon, so that's something to consider. We will have another one that I'll obviously try and do. But no, I really enjoyed this format. It was really nice to have the Zacian. I did want the Zacian, to be honest. It's quite a good attacker. But obviously, we just ran out of steam in that last game. But honestly, I think the deck did really well, and I'm really happy with how we did. But anyway, we'll leave your tip for today. I really hope you enjoyed the Phantasmal Flames build and battle, and I'll see you next time.